An increase in humpback whale sightings in New Jersey waters in recent years has been attributed to cleaner water and more bait fish.
But not much is known about the population. News 12's Brian Donahue spent the day on the water with a scientist leading the effort to solve their mysteries.
3 o'clock. You can see the flippers, you can see the dorsal fin.
There was a humpback whale off Asbury Park today that stubbornly refused to identify itself. It rolled and lazily bobbed about, but never showed its tail or fluke. See, those whale tails have unique patterns that would allow Danielle Brown to identify it and start to learn its story.
All right, just sit here. We'll see what he does.
Brown, a Rutgers PhD candidate, is lead researcher for Gotham Whale, a nonprofit that studies whales in New Jersey and New York waters. She's also a naturalist on Jersey Shore whale watch trips, today on board the Royal Miss Belmar out of Belmar.
Oh, there you go.
And she's the lead author of the first detailed study published last month on our local humpback whales ever since populations began rebounding in recent decades.
There's not a lot of evidence that humpback whales were here 100 or 200 years ago. So something new is going on. We know that they occasionally move through the area, but this is different.
Brown and others collected photos of those tail patterns and other data on trips like these from 2011 to 2018 on about 101 whales. Compared it with data collected by scientists across the North Atlantic, and a profile began emerging. Turns out most of our local whales are juveniles, less than 10 years old.
We can say that this is a supplemental feeding ground for juvenile humpback whales.
Supplemental because many belong to populations whose primary feeding grounds is the Gulf of Maine, with a few from eastern Canada. They spend an average of 37 days here and come back about 2 or 3 years later.
This is a very unique dorsal fin. We know this whale. This is number 91.
So, with a fair amount of exceptions, our humpback whales seem to be young New Englanders and Canadians coming for a month or so, except the ones that aren't. Every clue here leads to more questions, and every trip like this helps Brown and other scientists fill in the blanks about who they are and what they're doing here. Only once they decide to finally show their tails, of course.
He's just hanging out there at the surface there.
I'm Brian Donahue. That's Positively New Jersey.
That study covered a time period ending in 2018. It included 101 whales identified up to that point.
And the number of whales identified is now close to 270. Still pretty cool.
Yep.